Hi, I'm Fernando Jones, and I was invited by NAMM to share my best practices with you to help you successfully pivot from in-person music lessons to online music lessons during this time of shelter in place. I hope you enjoy this presentation. Thank you. I'm proud to present Pivot and Teach Music Lessons online smoothly using video conferencing during shelter in place. I want you to think NAMM when you think about how to present yourself. NAMM stands for the National Association of Music Merchants. The U stands for university. I want you to think of it as need, audience, market, motivated, unique. I want you to be able to identify the need, target your audience, aggressively market your program, stay motivated, and be unique. Now I'll explain. Identify the need. Here's an example, and my mother used to always tell me, she would say, I could show you a lot better than I can tell you. So I'm going to show you this example right here. You're more than welcome to read along. My daughter is a high school junior in the Los Angeles Unified School District. She plays piano in the jazz band. Next fall, she has a scholarship audition at Columbia College Chicago. Normally, she takes lessons at the local music store, but they are now out of business due to the impact of COVID-19. However, we want her to continue lessons online so her skills will remain sharp during this scary time of shelter in place. Can you help us? Signed, Concerned and Interested Parent. Here's another one. My son wants to be ready for blues camp next summer. He's a high-performing beginner. With the right coaching, he could be an intermediate player by June. Also signed, Concerned and Interested Parent. That's where you come in. A. Audience. Target the audience that you want to serve. Is it a beginner group, intermediate, or advanced group or player? Is it a youth or is it an adult? You decide. Maybe it's both, and maybe it is all three, beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Once you decide what your target audience is, then you can start looking at your marketing plan. Aggressively market your idea and your program. Use every tool that you have, whether it's your website or Facebook or any other form of social media. Identify the market and go after them. Most importantly, be ready when they come. M, motivated. You have to stay motivated because the intimacy of in-person one-on-one is gone for the time being. So you have to stay motivated and find other tricks of the trade to keep yourself engaged, because when your student comes to class, you have to engage them, and they're coming to you at that moment in time during your lesson. Only you can solve those problems, those questions, or those concerns. Be unique. What makes you different sometimes is the thing that makes you great. It also makes you marketable. Something unique about you, you may be able to teach your lessons from the music studio in your home. You may have a wealth of knowledge. You may have playing experience that no one else has. And those are things that go beyond the book or beyond the lesson that you can share with your student. That makes you unique, and that makes you interesting. It also helps to make the kid or the adult come to class on time and often because they like you. When it comes to your presentation, you are putting on a show whether you know it or not. So you want to be cognizant of everything. You want to be cognizant of your appearance. Maybe you will find an attractive outfit or a standard outfit that you can wear all of the time. That will help eliminate some of the fuss of what am I going to wear today? And it also creates consistency for the student to see you the same way all of the time. It also psychologically presents an image that you are there on purpose, which you are there on purpose. So be consistent in that appearance. The appearance of your backdrop. You might be the world's greatest music teacher, but your backdrop is disheveled. You've got everything in the world in behind you. Books, cars, a cat crawling around. And it might be cute to you, but it's awfully distracting to your viewer, okay? So remember, when they look at you, it's just like they're watching a television production. Once you have their attention and you have them engaged, you can teach them. So be aware or cognizant once again of your backdrop. When you have lessons online during this time of Zoom or Cisco or Microsoft, you're putting on a show. That's what you're doing. And just like all shows, whether it's a late night show or whether it's the morning news, there is a standard beginning that is consistent. And the stuff that happens in the middle is actually the show itself. And there's always a consistent closing. So maybe you will open your presentation with your logo or a song that's pre-recorded, and maybe you will close with a logo, your information, and or some sort of a song. Or be creative. Create a jingle for yourself, a 30-second jingle. I know you always wanted to do that, so now's the time to do it. Start your presentation off with a jingle, close it out with a jingle, and you'll be surprised how happy that will make your students feel, and it might even make you smile too. Think about the tech teaching tools that you have. It's a wonderful time to organize your lessons, create new lessons. I had a cousin that always said, it is open season on new ideas. Translation, you've got some good books, but you've got some ideas, and that might be the thing that makes your student a phenomenal player. So don't be afraid to create lessons of your own. Think about the software and the gear that you'll be using during this class. You can use certain scoring software to write charts in the event that the students do read charts, of course. Or you can do head charts where you just write it out on a nice piece of paper, scan it, and import it into your lesson some kind of a way, or email them PDFs of the lessons. The gear. Do you have an interface so that you can play into the software, whether it's GarageBand or Logic or Pro Tools, and to be able to send audio files back and forth to your students that you create? You want to take care of business. Figure out if your course is going to be, the first lesson is free and the rest of them you're going to pay for them. If you do that, figure out how to monetize. There are a number of monetized sites that you can look into and you can investigate on your own. Obviously, there's PayPal. There are different Zelle payment options from bank to bank to bank, so on and so forth. Make sure you have your social media up to date, because while you're sleeping, it can be working for you while you're doing something else. If you don't have a Facebook page, create one and make it a dedicated page for your lessons, because sometimes people will be looking and you might come up in their search, okay? Branding. Think about your image, think about your logo, and think about how you're presenting yourself in the program that you're presenting. Everything you do reflects you, and you are your brand. Now, this is for the students. You want to give them a pre-course survey. Why? Because it will help you be of better service to them. Create an IEP, which stands for Individualized Education Program. If you do not have one, you can contact me and I'll share mine with you, and you can build on it or you can use it as it is. The IEP basically is a survey that allows a student musician in this case, to cherry pick what they know, what they want to know. They give that back to you, then you create a program that is specific for that, and you will have everything in black and white. What they want, why they want it, and you show them how to get it. For example, they might want to play guitar just to learn patterns and become a better mathematician. All right, you know that. So now you don't have to put the kitchen sink in and treat them as if they want to become a recording artist one day. The IEP, you may see that someone might want to start a band. So you can put them on that track with the lessons that you're giving them. Technology. You want to find out what technology that they have, and you can find this all out during that survey. For example, as an adult instructor, you might have a large TV monitor or a large Mac or IBM compatible monitor that you're watching because you're an adult and you can afford one. But the person taking the lesson, whether they're an adult or a youth, they might be taking lessons on their smartphone. So just from that, you know that there may be certain limitations. So now you know how to present to that. You can teach to that tool, okay? You want to find out what gear they have, and you also can make recommendations. Just because you know what an interface is does not mean that they know what one is. So if they don't have one, maybe you can explain the benefits of having one. Maybe you can explain the benefits of investing in, if you're teaching guitar lessons, for example, you might want to talk to them about investing in an acoustic guitar, because they might be in a situation where they cannot play their electric guitar during the time of your lessons for whatever reason. Also, if you're teaching piano where someone lives during the time of day you're teaching your music lessons, they might not be able to be banging away on the baby grand, So maybe your advice would be get a $99 MIDI keyboard and plug it right into GarageBand or Logic or whatever, and we'll take your lessons and do your lessons that way. Okay, you might want to tell them to invest in a wonderful camera, a nice high definition camera, so on and so forth. But you will glean all of this information just from that survey. Be clear during your first lesson or your pre-lesson, and I always suggest and advise that anytime you're teaching a lesson that you have some sort of orientation a week before that student comes to class. It gives them an opportunity to get to know you briefly and you a chance to get to know them. And then you will also get a chance to go over your syllabus or your outline, so they'll know what their expectations are. You could also go over the learning outcomes, which of course ties into the expectations, and nothing is a shock. And then they'll have a full 7 days to tighten up whatever it is that they need to tighten up before their first lesson comes. At the top of this meeting, whether it's the orientation and or your first lesson, introduce yourself. Don't be braggadocious. You have them as your student already, so they're kind of reeled in. So you don't have to oversell yourself, but it is important for them to know who you are. Then that way they know how to get the best out of you. So in a kind and warm and friendly way, give them a little bit of your history. Bond with them. If you started off as a child player, let them know that, especially if they're a child, then they know that they can, maybe one day they can be like you, okay? Share your history, because it's important for people to know who they're studying with. It's also important, if it's a youth, that their parents know who you are, other than, they got your number off the wall at the guitar store calling you. Be honest and be open. Let them know your areas of expertise. For example, I am not a note reader. I'm a blues player, and so I learned almost everything the wrong way. I know how to read head charts. I know how to play. I developed my ear really well. So when I teach through the lens of playing by ear, learning basic chords, and turning basic chords into songs, and from that, turning those songs into great songs, okay? So talk about what you do and be clear on your area of expertise. And don't be afraid or ashamed if there is a level that you can't do and you want to recommend them to someone else. You can say, hey, I can get you from point A to B, and Miss Brown can get you from point B to Y, and Mr. Johnson can get you from point Y to Z, okay? Now here's a recap. With this technique, I want you to think NAMM when you think about how to present yourself. I want you to identify the need. Matter of fact, repeat after me. Identify need. Your turn. Target audience. Your turn. Aggressively market. Your turn. Stay motivated. Very good. Be unique. I'm Fernando Jones, and on behalf of NAMM, thank you. Hi, I'm Mr. Jones, Fernando Jones, and I'm happy to be your instructor from the beginning of this course all the way till the end. I will give you a survey. The survey will be an IEP, an individualized education program. From that assessment, I will find out what you know and what you want to know. And through that information, I will tailor a program especially for you to help you become a better player, whether you are a beginner, intermediate, or advanced player. A little bit about myself. I started playing when I was 4 years old. I was inspired by my older brothers. And just like most little brothers or most little sisters that I know, they want to be like their big brothers or their big sisters. Fortunately for me, my big brothers were musicians. So with that experience, I kind of understand what you're going through, some of the anxiety and the whole bit, because I was once you. My area of expertise is teaching student musicians how to play by ear. Whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced player, this is a skill that will be one of the greatest tools in your toolbox.